Welcome back to Donington Park, where we're heading towards the latter stages of what's turning into a fairly dramatic race in the Lotus Cup UK. It's Rob Fenn who leads the way and leads it comfortably. But further through the field, there are dices aplenty. Steve Train is going very, very strongly at the moment in his Lotus 211 on the tail of Stuart Plotneck there, about to put a lap on Plotneck. This isn't a fight for position, but Plotneck, a multiple MG champion prior to moving into Lotus racing, not making it too easy for Train to pick his way past him as we are moving into the early evening here. It's an October race day here at Donington Park, and therefore the light may be not what it would be if we're racing in July, and that means that it's time to get those headlights ablaze for these drivers, as Jamie Stanley, since taking over from Glenn Sherwood, has been absolutely flying and he's sidling his way out through the field. He's already latched himself onto terms here with Paul McNeely as he looks to gain a place. Marcus Jewell slides to the inside of Brian Watts. Brian gives him ample room, so Jewell continues in what has been a very strong performance from him, and a very brave drive as well to do the full 90 minutes single-handedly in a car as physical as Lotus 211 is no mean feat. Brian Watts and David Harvey, one of the strongest showings for the 340 yard. We've seen quite some times into the pit lane is Simon Deacon, and that is not a scheduled pit stop for Deacon, and a real disaster for him because he's one of the drivers who is challenging for the championship. And with the engine covering coming off, that looks fairly ominous for Deacon, who's metronomically pounding around the circuit. Is the race leader Rob Fenn, and Fenn about to put a lap once more onto Stuart Plotneck. And this has just been the race that the Go Green Motorsport team would have dreamed of. They really do work very, very hard at getting their tactics right, but this weekend it has just all paid off perfectly for them. They have run exactly the race they would have wanted to, with Adam Wilcox being able to take a measured start to the race, gradually increasing the pace and the intensity, and then giving Rob Fenn really a very significant advantage to inherit, which he will be looking to maintain all the way through to the flag as Deacon gets a push from the mechanics. Do we find some power there? Not sure. The car stutters, stalls, gets pulled back, and they may give it another go, but any hope that Simon Deacon would have had a decent points paying finish today here at Donington Park, unfortunately, is rather going away from him. The car gets wheeled back along the pit lane as Adrian Hall is out on track. And Hall, despite those dramas, has emerged in second position. So this is all not as yet lost for Adrian Hall, but any hopes that he may have had of getting on terms with Rob Fenn, because I think that would have been a really nice scrap between the pair of them, unfortunately rather disappeared. Even so, this is very handy points for the Super Sports Championship. And the man to watch on track is the driver we ride in car with now, Jamie Stanley, who has just got the bit between his teeth. So he runs out over the curves and then down through the crane of curves, moving up through the gearbox. And Stanley looking so smooth as he looks for points in both the Super Sport Championship and the Exige Cup, because if you've not seen Lotus Cup UK before, to explain, there are two championships in one. There's the Super Sports Championship, which is for the modified cars, and then the Production Championship, which is for the more standard Elises that you see racing in Lotus on track. Elise Trophy. Steve Train continues to negotiate his way through traffic in the number 8211 as he closes up onto the tail of Rob Fenn. Fenn, headlights ablaze, picks his way past Adrian Brooks in the Exige into another lap, and Rob Fenn, I think for him the checkered flag really can't come quite soon enough here at Donington Park. Charlotte Burridge also lapped there by Steve Train as he heads through the crane of curves, and Jamie Stanley continues his march up through the field, although he has got Chris Randall closing on his tail, so the fight really coming together here between Stanley and Randall. That's Randall and Lotus Europa closing in onto Jamie Stanley, and on paper you'd have to say that Lotus Europa is maybe a little bit quicker than Jamie Stanley's Exige, but Jamie Stanley just knows how to fling that Exige around when he needs to and can doggedly defend. The teams wave their men on through the pit boards on the pit wall, turning in to Redgate corner. Got another car ducking into the pit lane there. I think that's possibly James Littlejohn as Chris Setters is into Redgate. Yes, it is James Littlejohn who is in the number 30 car, so problems for Littlejohn, and great shame for him and Dave Carr. hopefully he will be able to rejoin, although it looks fairly honest at the moment. Unfortunately for Little John, as the team get to work. And while Andrew Wright, another driver, has gone single-handedly, continues his way, and Andrew Wright, who's now just outside the top 10. A really fantastic drive this. And Wright, he was in intense battling early in the race, but he's now got a little bit of space of his own. There is the production class leader, though. Stuart Plotnick, Rob Boston encountering problems and has been forced into the pits. So it's Plotnick who takes over the lead of the classes, pulling off his Mark Speller. So Speller has problems. Well, we heard that car had got gear selection issues, also pulling off his Paul McNeely. So we've got two cars out of proceedings very, very late in the race as Simon Deacon rejoins. Christopher Mayhew heads through Redgate Corner. We head down to the pit lane for some more news.
Yeah, so we were running in P3. I didn't have a lap time in the car, so I didn't actually know whereabouts we were on track or how my lap times were, but I think sadly drive shaft's just gone, so that's put us out of the race.
Well, looking as if he's going to rejoin the race is Rob Boston. He is some 10 laps down, but it's great to see Rob getting out on track to make sure that he takes the checker flag here at Donington Park, as Jamie Stanley is locked into this tooth and nail scrap with Chris Randall right on his tail. Stanley looking to surge up through the traffic. That's Brian Watts. He squeezes past, and Stanley has a big moment going in. The Focus Yeses powers through the gravel trap, and that is the marked professional racing driver, very calm, but it enables Chris Randall to dive past him. So it's Randall who moves up into what is third position now as they fight for that final step on the rostrum. But Jamie Stanley looks to fight back, and he's going to dive to the inside. Chris Randall, is he? Into Goddard. He's got the inside line. Randall gives him a car's width, and that's all that Jamie Stanley needs. Through he goes. Lovely move there from Jamie Stanley to reclaim the place that he would feel was rightfully his. It was really Jamie's mistake through the Focus Yeses that gave Randall that opening. He now has to defend, though, into Redgate Corner as Randall looks to the outside line in the Lotus Europa. Jamie Stanley, though, covers the inside, and he's now going to be driving a very wide car all the way through to the checker flag adventure, and that checker flag is very, very near now, as heading into the final turner is Rob Fenn. Rob Fenn out of Wilcox had a perfect day, as have the Go Green Motorsport team. So out of Goddard's, checker flag awaits, and it's victory for Rob Fenn and Adam Wilcox here in the Lotus Cup UK at Donington Park. Absolutely superb drive from the pair of them, and taking victory in the end by over a lap from Adrian Hall, who has done enough to take second position over the line. Then this Jamie Stanley, Chris Randall battle, and it is just Jamie Stanley who finishes clear of Chris Randall. So Jamie Stanley, superb drive, him and Glenn Sherwood, to win the Exige Cup and also take third steps. Let's take a look at those final results, with the win for Rob Fenn and Adam Wilcox, second place Adrian Hall, third place Glenn Sherwood and Jamie Stanley. In the production class, well, it was Stuart Plotnick who won it. Andrew Wright an excellent second position, and Adam Knight completing the podium after a race full of adventures. Well, thoroughly entertaining action here at Donington Park, and as dusk begins to fall, a pat on the back for Rob Fenn as the cars head into Parc Fermé, and I'm sure, as ever, there'll be a very celebratory and warm atmosphere on the podium as Glenn Sherwood greets Jamie Stanley. Really stunning drive that from Jamie during the course of his stint. Well, spectacular action at Donington Park, and it sets us up very nicely in the championship, within the Super Sports Championship. Steve Train leading the way from Doug Setters and Tom Chataway. And in the production championship, well, Rob Boston being pegged back by Stuart Plotnick, with Andrew Wright in third. There is everything to race for as we head to the final round of the season on the Snetterton 300 circuit. Of course, you'll be able to see it here on Motors TV. But from Donington Park, that's it for today with Lotus on Track.